Dad sé ná cinna insle do Bethlehem Basistín twitch eat a does chadol Lizaflana a dasinale. These are my clans from my maternal mother and my paternal father and my maternal grandmother and my paternal grandfather's clan. I'll begin with the unit, and Paislee Curleyhair, my former student, will be explaining, telling about the micro biome within the circle of life. This unit I created in 2014. Paul Turner was my seminar leader, and I used a book called Keeping the Rope Straight, which really connect to microbes and viruses and bacteria. And then the next unit, Jolene will tell about diabetes, the silent enemy. This unit I created when I first came to YNI in 2011. And Mark Salzman was the seminar leader. That was a first rigorous, challenging experience I had in 2011. And what makes these units unique within the nation is we embed the Navajo language and the culture within the units. So our students are learning the rigor of the content, and they're also learning the culture and the language that they're learning about within the content. So I'll begin with Paislee Curleyhair.
Yat a Paislee Curleyhair dashinjene tabahan nishlim but ani bashishin zia plaba dashite mandan hidatarika dashanele dikot egonash atzane nishle todanesh jet the etsebi yigi yenish ta chustimbito the yena sha. Water Edge clan is my first clan from my mother's clan. Under his or her cover is my second clan from my father's clan. Zia Plaba are my maternal grandmother's people. Sioux, which are Mandan, Hidatsa, Rika, are my paternal grandfather's people. I am a young lady, and I am in 8th grade, and I attend school in Kayenta, and I live in Chochimbito, which I am originally from. Today I'll be presenting a unit called Microbe in the Circle of Life. What I learned in Ms. Smith's unit was how microbes came onto our reservation and killed many of our Navajo people. The disease Ms. Smith taught us was influenza and tuberculosis. These bacteria and virus were very powerful and killed many children and elderly. The disease had no cure until white doctors came with antibiotics and knowledge of how to combat the disease. The next thing I learned about the unit was how influenza and tuberculosis influenced the way our Diné people live. These diseases were bad because many families gathered together to help the sick during a ceremony. Eventually, these families died from the sickness because they were within contact with the sick individual. My experience from learning her unit was when I was in 5th grade. We read a book called Keeping the Rope Straight. The book was about a young Diné woman named Annie Wanika. She learned and studied the diseases known as influenza and tuberculosis. She experienced the flu epidemic while attending the local boarding school with her and within her family at home. And Wanika, this amazing woman established many initiatives for the Diné people to live a better life, to live in harmony with walking along the path of life. She changed the traditional hogan to a modern with wooden floors and windows. She built windmills for clean water. She did travel clothing for students attending school, which we still receive today. She did a program called Women, Infant, and Children Program, WIC, the Mobile Tuberculosis Clinic, And there are more campaigns she provided. These are a few. Conclusion. After learning about influenza and tuberculosis, there is now a cure to influenza and tuberculosis. For influenza, you have to get a shot called a flu shot. For, for tuberculosis, you have to get it checked on the arm. To this day, the Diné people have to be healthy by not touching animal dens or wild animals that are infected. The Diné people had learned to go to clinics to check if they have the flu or tuberculosis. In Kayenta, our community finally have a new clinic hospital. It opened during April of 2016. There, the people can get checked for tuberculosis and the flu. Finally, I would like to learn more about microbes and how they invade cells. Learning about her unit was a very complex process and challenging. It made me pay attention learning the new information. I would like to see how scientists study and work in this field of science. I was impressed and fascinated about learning about microbes. I knew about bacteria. I am glad Ms. Smith taught this challenging unit. Ahiet, which means thank you.
Yad Esha Jolene Charley Dashajine Tohanin Aiden Schlint do Bashachin Kea Ani A Dashache Nato Dune A Dashanella Kutego Ast Anan Schle Todinestia D A Tebi Giginishta Chilchibito D A Nahasha. And now I will explain my clans in English. Near to the water clan is my mother's clan. The water edge is my second clan, that's from my father's clan. The Tyron House clan is my maternal grandmother's clan. The Tobacco People clan is my paternal grandfather's clan. This is who I am as a young lady, and I am in 8th grade, and I attend school in Kayenta. I live in Chochimbito, and that is where I am originally from. Today I'll be talking about a unit that Ms. Smith taught us, and it's called Diabetes, the Silent Enemy. What I learned, the unit I learned from my former teacher, Ms. Smith, was a unit she taught me when I was in 5th grade. The unit I recall was about diabetes. I learned this disease, diabetes, will slowly and unknowingly creep into Diné families and slowly maim and kill young ones and elderly people. When it is not monitored or controlled, I have personally experienced my Nelly, who is my paternal grandfather, suffered and struggled with this disease. The disease was extreme and had affected his health. In the end, he was hospitalized and had eventually died from this disease. The other part of this unit I recall was how Ms. Smith taught all the organs on chart. Then each organ was reviewed daily. She explained and gave examples of the brain, the heart, the lungs, liver, stomach, large and small intestines, and finally the pancreas. I did not know diabetes affect other organs and not just the pancreas. I remembered Ms. Smith saying, "It is amazing how our organs function and how it fits in our compact body like a puzzle." I began to understand it when we created an actual organ on chart paper. Facts about diabetes. I know diabetes is a very shocking sickness to every family you never want to go through. Your kidneys will fail, nerve damage will happen, heart disease and circulation problems will damage your body. The saddest part of this silent enemy is it will eventually win and will move on to attack another individual and their family, because it is very evident on the Navajo Nation. I know this because Kayenta has a dialysis clinic, and other towns on our reservation have these clinics too. My experiments. As I learn more about Miss Smith's unit, we read and learn about diabetes that can hurt you and your loved ones. The awesome part of this unit was that our class created individual bodies with organs and the brain attached to the diagram. And now I'm going to give you an example about the organ, saying it in Navajo and in English. Astingran is your brain. A J distrol is your heart. A J yezole is lungs. A bid means stomach. A zid means liver. A loke means pancreas. A chi this and it's large intestines. A chi is intestines. A lishbizis is your bladder. And from the back is your left and right, is your acha ashkaja is kidneys. Finally, after learning about Miss Smith's unit, I have taught others about eating a healthy traditional diet, like blue cornmeal mush, corn stew, and the Three Sisters, which are corn, beans, and squash. Also, another healthy benefit is fitness, because long ago, children used to run and run very early in the morning to greet the sun. This is what I teach others in my family and to my peers about health. So diabetes, the silent enemy, will not attack other families. Thank you for my unit.